You guys want to put emergency brake cable in my 62 C10 project truck? I got a universal kit. Amazon and eBay, they have them about 25 bucks, 30 bucks. It's all the same exact kit sold by a bunch of different people who put their brand on it. But they're not making it, they're just reselling it. One of the first things I found out is the nuts that come with these cables aren't the right thread. These are not the nuts that came with it. These are the nuts that come with it, which is a nice locking nut, but it's a very coarse thread, like a 1.25. These are 1.5, I believe, like the nuts are. The higher the number in metric, the finer it is. See, this goes on about a half a turn and stops. So they come with the wrong nuts, and they all do. Everyone on the internet's talking about it, but the manufacturer hasn't corrected it yet. Probably because they sealed the bag. Why would you want to do that? Not really a big deal if you know ahead of time you can go get the right nuts. But so we got that sorted. Let's get the truck in. Alright, first thing we got to do, get these back wheels off of here. Only we got to take the right rear off. You can see there's that's where the cable's supposed to be. And like this side, the cable runs to the trailing arm and then down to the frame. So I could do a similar thing over here. All I gotta do is get it to that bar up front where that block of wood is. There's supposed to be a second cable, but they put a block of wood in there instead of putting the cable in. I'm not sure why, but that's what we're gonna do in this video. That should be good. I really should have centering spacers on here, but I haven't gotten to that yet. Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. I hope it fits. Oh, we're so close. We're not that far away from it working. Let's try that. In case you're wondering, those wheels and tires, they're heavy. This will pop right off if there wasn't a camera. That's how it works. If you think I'm kidding, try filming something someday, even if you're not going to post it online. See what happens. It's not the lip, it's past the shoe. I don't want to scratch the paint, but it's going to be covered in. Painted it in case I didn't run center caps. You might notice some parts is missing. Don't worry, we got those too. I think that's the one I need. Got to some jegs. On the website, the company that makes it, it's like 80 bucks or 88 bucks plus shipping. So it's like $104. But from jegs, it's 66 bucks and $10 or $12 shipping. So I saved about $25 not buying it from the manufacturer, which I guess is what they want. They'd rather have you buy it from the retailers. This goes like this, and it goes across to the other shoe, like this, and then the emergency brake cable pulls on it. This pushes out, and this pushes forward, so both shoes move out. That's what we got to put in there. First, we got to pull these off. A little camera shy, that's all right. This is a self-adjuster. When you back up, if there's too much play between the shoe and the drum, the self-adjuster will click the little wheel at the bottom. Not a perfect science, but it does work. Normally this would be bolted to that rear shoe or clipped to it, however it's attached depending on the year, and you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to leave them hanging and detach it at the bottom. But we're not doing it because we don't have to do it. Got to set up my cable to come through that hole and grab this arm. I got my cable. I don't have to worry about the other end yet. We can do that after this is all attached. Now from the factory, this will clip in place. It'll have 3 prongs. You push it through and it just snaps in and you're done. But we use an aftermarket because I thought, you know, I wasn't sure what generation the brakes were, what generation the e-brake system is, any of that stuff. This differential is out of like a 65 or 6. It's a heavier duty version than the 62 came with, so that's good. But I wasn't sure if it'd be different. Apparently it's the same. I could have just got a factory cable. But the factory cable's 80 bucks. This was 25. So we'll make it work. Custom stuff's fun anyway. I want my little spring washer in between the 2 moving parts. And when I bolt this onto the shoe, the bolt's probably going to be stationary, right? So I want to let this lever, the spring kind of keeps it snug but not tight, if that makes sense, and the shoulder stops against the shoe. I'll put the spring between the lever and the shoe, I think. Feels like it binds up a little bit the other way. Stop it. Nice. This emergency brake set didn't come with a parking brake, whatever you want to call it. Didn't come with the springs that I like to see in between the cable housing and the lever, just to help release it, even though it has a spring up front. So Joe had these springs laying around from jobs gone by. Who knows what they came from, but I'm using 2 of these. And I'm hoping that I'm in the ballpark. They're not as heavy as the original ones, so I think it's going to be great. Home Depot and Lowe's sells pressure springs. There's extending springs and pressure springs.
This block, this back there, is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. That's the 110-inch cable. It's probably twice as long, 3 times as long as it needs to be. I need the cable that long, but the housing not really long at all. Start getting this thing put back together. That's not attached on the other end, so it's going to make it a little easier than it would if there was a factory cable. I'd have to hook this up first, probably. I'm not going to be able to put the drum on yet, in case this comes apart or something, until I put pressure on it in the front. Okay, be that way, that's fine. If you have these tools, drum brakes aren't that hard. Without these tools, they're not a lot of fun. Uh-oh. What's that?
You said it's on the part back there that you received?
There's like 5 or 6 more things back there that are mine.
I'm assuming everything has to do with the engine, the gaskets, and everything is yours.
Well, there's a big stand back there. It's made for dropping subframes and stuff. That's the shop's.
Okay.
My stuff's just on top of it because we never use it.
But there's like a cart with a bunch of just random ass parts that are there. I don't know.
Metal parts and stuff. Yeah, that's my metal packing cart.
That's what I'm gonna make sure. I'm like, yeah, go take it, and then you beat me up. So.
Nope, we're not taking it.
Right.
We're not taking that.
Alright.
Now I do have, let's see if we can do this the way I'd like. Not really the right hold down spring, is kind of strange. I don't know where they come up with that, but I'm guessing whoever built the engine that was in this truck when I got it probably did it. If you're not familiar with this build, I bought it because the engine was just rebuilt. It didn't last 30 miles, so it wasn't just rebuilt, it was just assembled improperly by someone who had no idea what they were doing. I hope they didn't pay somebody for it, let's put it that way. I'd feel worse for them if they paid someone for what they had, because I paid someone for what they told me they had. And then both of us would be idiots, instead of just me. Oh, you know what? Speaking of idiots, I gotta put this on. That goes underneath that. Now, I can put this on. You gotta make sure your wheel cylinder posts are in the shoes too. You gotta make sure these pins are in the post too, in the shoe slots. Otherwise, it's gonna pop out and leak brake fluid. That, allegedly, is the hard part. Now, I got to get this housing attached, whatever length and locations I want to use, and get it up to that lever up front. And then, when I pull this, that's what we should get. See the lever moving? So we'll be good. Like a lot of hot rod things, I didn't stop to think that I have to put the wheel on because the jack's in my way. That's where I got to work, basically. So I'll put the wheel on. I'll leave the center cap off though, because basically every time I take it on and off, it puts a little scratch in the wheel. The factory one is looped in there and it's just all cable. There's no housing. But I'm just thinking if you leave the housing on it, it's a little easier. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I have one of those. I wonder if I can make a straight shot right to here. That's where I want to go. We're going to find out soon enough. I think I can do that. What do you think? I don't see why I couldn't. Go right to there. Something here to hold it. Let's see what we got. It came with an assortment of hardware. It's amazing what they can do in China for 25 bucks. It's got eyelets, got things to hold cables in place if you want along the frame. It's got this mount, which really I could put here, angled like this, going right towards that eyelet, and that cable will be good to go. This goes on the end here. I think I'm going to mount that right there. Straight shot to that. And then this will go on the very end to the lever. It'll be like a brand new truck. Now, I'm going to set the length of this. I'm going to use my cable cutter. This thing will take a pinky right off. It'll also cut this cable, I hope. I wasn't going to cut my pinky off, don't worry. I need it. Something like this. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned to the eyelet, but it would be nice. The cable can have as much slack as you want. As long as both ends of the housing are supported, the cable is going to work. So I'm going to mark these holes, drill some holes. There's nothing up here. I don't have to worry about the fuel lines or anything over there. I'm not going to measure that and cut the housing until this is mounted. Although there's room for adjustment. I'll try to do it once if we can. Anytime you're drilling, always wear safety glasses. These are polycarbonate lenses. Always wear some kind of safety glasses, especially if you're under what you're drilling and not looking down. I got Allen bolts and 7/16 or quarter-inch nuts, quarter-inch thread, 7/16 heavy. can't lose a bit every bolt you tighten. Now I'm going to take a measurement. Not with any CAD or anything like that. No expensive software. I'm going to use the eyeball method. And we got to keep in mind this spacer goes on the cable end. So let's see which way it faces. It goes this way, I believe. So I can go to the end of this. I'm going to center this so I have room for adjustment. Not a ton, but enough that I can get something to attach it like that up on the frame like the other side is. Uh-oh. There's hard stuff in the middle of this. I didn't hurt my tool, almost. So I gotta get a cutoff wheel and a face shield. Even when I'm wearing a face shield, I don't like to put my face in line with the blade. I'm going to be as safe as I can. Oh, no, that's a shame. I just cut the cable. That's what was wrong. That's why it was hard inside. I got another cable, don't worry. That was stupid. Now, the question. I edited it out. I'm a genius. It never happened. The housing's the right length. We got another cable. This is what happens when it's the end of the day. You're trying to get something done real quick before you go home. I grabbed the battery cable cutter thing, thinking the plastic housing I had to cut, and without cutting the cable, I could just cut it with that and pull a piece off the cable. But I was in such a rush, I was determined to cut it all the way through. And I stopped thinking. So, I'm leaving it in, just so you guys can avoid the same pitfalls. Let's get this wheel back off, put this cable in, the housing set to length. I got a tie wrap holding it temporarily. I'll put some kind of a spring holding that up, I think. But I have to get the proper spring for it. Maybe I can use this piece for a throttle cable someday. Waste not, want not. As soon as it peaks out the end, I'm going to hook the levers side up. Oh, better. Let's get this block of wood out of here. Someone went through a lot of trouble to make that. I appreciate their efforts. Now it's a wheel chock. All I gotta do is attach it to there. I got lots of options, so I gotta choose. If this is the one I think that I'll be using, I'm thinking to do this. You have to have a different clamp. I guess you could put this in front of it and clamp the cable to that, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bend this tight here, run the cable through there, tighten the set screws, and we're golden. This nut is welded. I'll be able to tighten this up and adjust this as well as the housing. So we got plenty of adjustments. We got the cable tight. We're gonna take some measurements, and away we go with the cutting wheel again. This time once. Let's put comes with this pin and everything, so that's pretty cool. Got a cotter pin. Goes in here. You can use a spring pin if you have one, probably better, but I don't think we're going to be taking this apart too often, hopefully. Oh, it's probably all shiny head that time, huh? I apologize. I'm trying to do better with that stuff, but it's the end of the day. I'm tired, trying to do this, make a video, get this done so I can try to go to Old Town. Who knows if it'll work, but we're going to try. I mean the Old Town. My rule for Old Town before I'll take the truck, long road test, which I've done a pretty long drive now. It's about, I think the truck's good to go. But I want to edit Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's videos and have 3 videos done. And to get to Old Town at a reasonable time and be able to park and stuff and traffic, I need to leave the house by around 3:30. So if I don't have those 3 videos done, I don't let myself go to Old Town. See if I can run this cable through and out the other end, and all 4 of them will tighten on it. I'm going to leave some extra cable here. I don't want to mess with the adjustment. I want to be able to adjust it. But I think having the extra cable, first of all, it's more secure. And if it ever frays or something, I'll have a little cable to play with. Not that they're expensive, but get these snugged up. This is all it holds. The cable is set screws. Oh, if you don't throw it around on the ground. If you don't test gravity, it's easy. I like gravity though. Me and gravity, we get along. We prove it several times every day. And this is another thing. You want to squish the cable, but not literally destroy the cable in there, because it'll break sooner. You'll feel when it's tight and it's not going anywhere. Be amazed how much load that can hold. And this is made to have two cables attached to one point, so that's why I don't need the other side. If you're doing this on your truck and you're watching this video to figure out if it's hard, it's not hard, but keep in mind if you got two separate cables, you can't do this. You just run one cable to each deal. But this truck uses two separate attachment points. I actually bought another set of cables. I have two sets of these things just in case I needed them. We should be close, man. We can try this thing out, I think. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. You gotta make sure all the play is out of your linkages. You got a front cable that pulls this arm, pulls this intermediate arm, pulls this whole arm. And when one cable will take this, if one has a little more slack, it'll take up the slack and then pull the other one until it pulls them both. So we're gonna have to tinker with some adjustments and all, but I got a little extra cable. I can cut it now. And the truck's drivable if I want to take it to Old Town tomorrow. And we'll test the park and brake a little bit. This piece of cable I don't need, there's no ends on it, although you can get all kinds of ends that you set screw onto cables, but I got tons of cable, so I'm not going to save it. Careful. Alright, so we got our cable end hooked up, we got our intermediate bracket, we got our backing plate, we got our correct length cable. Let's try this thing out. Alright, oh, I got the window regulator in too. Did I show you guys that yet? New window regulator's nice. I didn't really film it because I've done it for the other side already. Didn't want it to be repetitive. So it's in neutral. Park and brake. Oh, I can still roll it a little bit. Yeah, it's doing something, but I got to tighten that cable a little more on the right side. But we're there. So we got park and brakes now. That's what matters the most with a manual transmission. Even more important than an automatic. If you put this on a hill at all, you're relying on that thing to stay in first gear when you're on a hill. Even with a park and brake and in first gear, I still turn the wheels towards the curb, so if it does roll, it hits the curb, right? But I hope this video helps you out if you're looking to put park and brake cables in your vehicle. Applicable to all of them. This is a Chevy truck. 60 to 66 are all pretty similar to this, even up to newer ones. But hope it helps you out. This is what we call hot rod stuff. Thanks for watching. Torque the like button if you got something from this video on your way out, and subscribe if you're new and you haven't seen my other videos. We specialize in a day in the shop, but we do a lot of project truck stuff too, because we're always tinkering with my toy. Did you see the door latch video, by the way? I like those door latches. Altman Easy Latch. Hope I see you in the next video. You're awesome.